Thank you, everybody. Making a difference to us is, and REACT's core values are up there: the respect, independence, acceptance and collaboration. We are currently funded by the Victorian and Commonwealth governments to deliver a range of programs to fill its vision, which is improving the lives of people by helping to build capacity and wellbeing of individuals, families, carers and communities. And our mission is to encourage achievement and acceptance of all individuals, irrespective of age, religion, race, sexual identity, culture or disability, through the provision of quality support and service, and to ensure an understanding of the life difficulties of all areas of disability. And I am very proud to be part of that REACT team. Whoops, sorry. Diversity is not a characteristic of life, it is a condition necessary for life. When I found out that I had been nominated and then shortlisted for this award, I was initially shocked and then felt really, really humbled. And after meeting Dr. Olga Kanixaki, I'm very privileged to really be nominated after meeting her, because what a wonderful lady. After finding out that I was then a finalist and had to present something to you all, I thought, well, what are you going to want to know about me? And then Tanina suggested it would be great if I could share some of my pearls of wisdom and the things that have worked for me in achieving so many successful outcomes in my work, both with the ethnic communities and with the aged care services in Mildura. So I'll try and keep this as painless as possible and as quick as possible. I commenced work with the cold communities in Mildura in 2006, the day the interpreter symbol was introduced to our region. I'd never used an interpreter before in my life, and here we are more than 15 years later, and I use them on a regular basis. I have worn out the speakers on 2 mobile phones in the last 2 years through using the telephone interpreter service with my clients, because we don't have a lot of face-to-face interpreters. Yes, so some of my roles over those years have included the HAC Ethnogeneric Access and Equity Worker. I was a coordinator for Ethnogeneric Core PAG in Mildura and Robinvale, project coordinator for the Community Partners Program, and introducing aged care services to cold communities in rural and remote areas. Those years of the CPP were awesome, because getting to know the ethnic communities and showing them the options in aged care that through the Centre for Cultural Diversity and Ageing was very, very rewarding. All of that sort of added up to just 15 years. I retired for 2 years, had 2 beautiful grandchildren in that time, and then here we are. I've been back for another 2 years in my service and role with REACT. And as an access support worker, a big shout out to all you ANS workers, because you do brilliant, brilliant stuff. If you include the years, 10 years beforehand, where I started off in the ground level. I used to do personal care, home care, which domestic assistance, I suppose, one-on-one social support, and generally I would get put with what they would classify as difficult or complex clients. And yes, you've guessed it, those clients would either be from a cold background or an ATSI background, where they would say to me, you know, we've got a difficult client, if you go in there and then it doesn't work, then we know that something's wrong. So, and that's where, you know, giving people respect and privilege, and that when they're in their home, delivering personal care. And back then we never had men doing personal care or anything like that, so I would have to build up that trust and rapport with the gentleman that I was going in to shower. And compared to you guys, 22 years overall is not a big thing in a work history, but along the way I have learnt a few things, and I'd like to share those pearls of wisdom with you today. Care. My first pearl of wisdom is about care, and this is what has really led me to working and supporting others in this industry for so long. I genuinely care about the people I work with and the people that I work for. Person-centred care has just been discussed, as where we all know is holistically looking at the individuals so they can be supported to make informed choices about the care they receive that affords the best quality of life for them. Oh, I can actually read that. I have wet macular degeneration, so I don't have much sight in one of my eyes, and the other one, half the time I can't see out of anyway. But the next pearl is respect and value. And as you can see, most good relationships are built on mutual trust and respect. And without that, you're never going to gain the respect or the trust from the client that you're working with. As well as caring for the people I work with, I can say that I respect and value them, and generally they know that and they feel that. Mutual respect is that key to success. The minute I walk into someone's home, they know whether through my body language and my demeanour as to whether I'm going to be accepted and being honest at all times. It leads to trust and rapport. My next little pearl. Building trust and rapport with the cold communities across the region. I've attended gatherings and events and have become a reliable contact for those people, which has been an important element to my role. Over the years, I've attended numerous cultural celebrations for the Filipino, the Samoan, Tongan, Burundian, Gujarati, Sikh, Italians, Greeks, Croatians, Turkish, and Aboriginal elders' luncheons. Developing relationships. I've established networks and links with aged care providers in Mildura, Robinvale and Swan Hill areas that hold quite well today, and supported their understanding through providing training using PCAC, Centre for Cultural Diversity in Ageing, Centre for Culture, Ethnicity and Health, and that has allowed services to be culturally appropriate. Supporting use of cultural information kits and cultural briefings that were made available to me by ethno-specific organisations through the CPP has been wonderful for me to do my job well over those years. And understanding the profiles of individual cult communities, where it's a snapshot of a thing. Every cult group, regardless of where they are, have their own individuality as well. But having just a little snapshot can sometimes help you when you go into that home. Nothing beats the actual conversation with the client so that you know them individually. The Turkish Women's Group that was one of the things that we did with, in conjunction. I got the Turkish women up there. There was a lot of mental health issues with them, with depression and that with them. There was, initially working with SMEC, we helped them to incorporate, and they started with 5 members. By the time, within a very short period of time, they had 70 women that were involved in that group. And on talking with them, there was depression and mental health issues were huge within it. So we worked with the Turkish community and they owned it, basically. And then I got Mallee Family Care, mental health carers and that involved. And we had a 2-day conference with the Turkish women. Over 2 days, we sourced a Turkish-speaking psychologist that came up from Melbourne, and it was amazing for the Turkish women to be able to talk to one another about what they were feeling and to gain local knowledge of where mental health supports were there for them. Hence, building those relationships. With the men, with the Turkish men, I had to gain the trust of the imam first. Without that trust, I couldn't even access the men. So, but to this day, I have men ring me and say, "You helped me with my wife, can you please help another person that needs help?" The Greeks and the palliative care. Recently, a Greek woman, her husband was dying from cancer. And he was saying, "I don't want to have any more of this treatment. I don't want anything." And I said to them about palliative care, so you've got to break things down so that they can understand it. So in my limited way of trying to explain to them what palliative care could do to help them, palliative care came into the home, but also he was able to say to his doctor, "I don't want any more of this invasive treatment. I just want to be able to die with dignity at home, regardless of what sometimes other family thinks, regardless of what the doctor thinks is the best thing for me, and regardless of what the community might think as well." It's individual taste, individual of what, and it was wonderful. And they had, the result has been that they're comfortable in voicing their choice to discontinue invasive treatments and has greatly supported their mental health as well. Okay, let's go. Another pearl. For me, that never shuts up. I have had to learn to shut up and listen to what they say. Overcoming barriers, the impossible can become possible. This is another lot of pictures of some of the stuff that I've done with the groups. Up in the corner there, taking an Italian group through a aged care facility, breaking down barriers. We thought there might have been 10 people there. 45 people turned up to do it. So we had to break that down into 3 lots of 10. Multicultural Crime Stoppers, the dementia. Passion can change the world. So if you've got passion and commitment, it can bring dreams and that closer. And teamwork. Without teamwork, you can't do it. Teamwork, you've got to use providers and all that, as well as the teamwork using your local community. And my final pearl is thank you.